And welcome back. One of the Department of Basic Education officials implicated in the breach in the 2025 Matric examinations is a parent of one of the learners alleged to have cheated. Basic Education Minister Siviwe Gwarube held an urgent briefing this morning to announce the breach. She outlined how it happened and the steps being taken against those implicated. Aside from internal processes, they are about to be followed. Criminal charges have also been laid with the South African Police Services. The two DBE officials implicated have already been suspended and an investigation is underway. This breach happened at 7 schools in Gauteng.
This year's National Senior Certificate marking process kicked off on the 1st of December in 183 marking centres across the country. On the 2nd of December, the Gauteng Department of Education alerted the National Department to a possible breach. It was an unusual similarity between the answers provided by a candidate and the answer provided in the marking guideline for the English Home Language Paper 2 that raised red flags.
This raised an immediate red flag and triggered what we call the standard protocols, starting with a preliminary investigation which confirmed that a breach had indeed occurred in respect to a few of the exam scripts.
It was soon revealed that the breach came from within the Department of Basic Education. Gwarube praised the markers who picked up the anomaly and who reported it.
It was detected because markers whose training includes investigative marking are equipped to know the difference between authentic learner responses and content that should only be accessible to markers.
The investigative team conducted interviews with the first group of learners whose scripts were flagged, and later expanded this to additional learners likely to have been privy to the examination material. 26 learners from 7 schools in Pretoria were identified. Evidence suggests that the papers were given to a parent who is a DBE official by a colleague who works in the examination unit. It's since been determined that of the 162 papers set, 3 subjects were accessed prior to the exams. These are English Home Language Papers 1, 2 and 3, Math Papers 1 and 2, and Physical Science Papers 1 and 2. The papers were shared via a USB storage device. While the breach seems to be confined to the 7 schools in Pretoria, the investigation is ongoing.
Over 900,000 learners sat for the NSC exams. Our system picked up only 26 learners out of that number across 7 schools. And this is an important thing to remember because we cannot allow the actions of a few to taint the almost 900,000 learners who sat for these exams, who put their heart and soul into working hard and making sure that they are showing up for their NSC exams.
Sanctions against those found guilty include not being able to rewrite an exam for the next 3 exam cycles. Umalusi, the exam's quality assurer, has been notified of the breach, but Gwarube has given her assurance that no results have been finalized, no certification processes have begun, and a final report on the investigation will be given to the Minister and Umalusi on the 31st of December. Babia, SABC News, Parliament.
Well, let's talk more about this now with the Deputy Chairperson of the Foundation for Education and Social Justice Africa, Hendrick Makaneta. Hendrick, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Breaches of exams are quite common during the matric exam cycle. In fact, we hear about them every other year. So this is not a new phenomenon. But this is certainly the first time I've heard about a breach being declared with such detail, clarity, and forensics thoroughness, that it was 26 learners that had access to these papers across 7 subjects, or at least 7 examination papers, which include 3 English papers, 2 mathematics papers, exactly the source of where it comes from, that it was transferred using a USB. The forensics clarity on this is tremendous. Does that show that the system of transparency, the system of investigations is actually robust in the Department of Education?
Yes, indeed. It would appear that the department has got proper mechanisms in place, to detect. But if you trace it back, you'll remember that the markers themselves were able to see a particular pattern in terms of writing of these papers by the learners, the similarities that they were able to detect. And I think that we must be able to applaud government for putting in place such mechanisms which can be able to detect. But of course, that cannot be enough. I mean, the fact that learners wrote already, and at the time when they were writing, they were not detected. That is a cause for concern.
Yeah, look, I mean, they really can only be detected after the fact, right? Detecting it beforehand would mean that they would have had to catch the thieves of the paper, so to speak, which are the two officials, beforehand. But does it worry you that clerical and administrative staff in the department, as we've been told one of the officials is, have access to the papers beforehand?
Definitely, that is a challenge. And I think that perhaps there is a need for government to move with the necessary speed to ensure that they strengthen the security systems, particularly to make sure that they go digital. If we can have a digital way of tracking these question papers, that would actually assist, to prevent such cheating processes from occurring in the future. Because if we go on in the same way that we're doing now, it may be too late, by the time we catch, the cheaters.
Yeah. Now, these 26 learners across the 7 schools in Gauteng will not matriculate. That's quite clear. But more importantly, the minister tells us that for 3 examination cycles, they will be ineligible to sit down for the exams. That means they have to wait it out for 3 years and then they can write the exams after 3 years. Do you think that's harsh enough a sanction?
Yes, indeed. The sanction is harsh enough. Remember, these are learners who should be going into the terrain of higher education. And, 3 years later, most of their peers will probably be completing their junior degrees. And it will actually delay them. They will be delayed. And this can certainly send a strong message to those who wanted to offend in future that it is not worth it. Learners must rather, face their exams, be prepared, and not, resort to cheating, because it's not only time that goes, but also, we always say that time is money. I mean, they are losing out also on careers that are already there. By the time they start at varsity, they will also have a record. That bad record will stay with them.
Yeah. Well, Hendrick, thank you so much for your time. We're going to have to leave you there. Really do appreciate it. Hendrick Makaneta is an education activist.